This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Potsy and Tino on the Potsy and Tino Show.
It's the Potsy and Tino Show. Talk the facts and let opinions flow. Laughs, hot takes, and maybe a rant. Two best buds with the mic and a plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings you its tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg Tino Gray, or I'm sorry, Big Daddy Jones 99, or 99, sorry, 99. You should break 99 out instead, so that way I say it correctly. And the Road Dogg, Rob Potsy Pochak. Our theme song is always that what you just heard. Thank you to Cody Rhodes for our intro tonight. Tino, we always start the show with something called What's Up With You. I'm going to tell you right now, I am not feeling well. I know that you said the same, but, you know, we kind of feel that it is our duty and our responsibility to come here and bring the news. So what has been up with you, my friend?
Not a whole lot, man. Like I said, I got this. I was trying to multitask while you're doing that. I had the guy send me the attendance so I can throw it in here real quick for the class tonight. My head's pounding, and I don't know if I'm nauseous because my head's pounding. You know, you get nauseous when your head hurts and everything. It's all in the front area, so I thought it might be sinuses at first. And the weather's changing because it's supposed to be 60 something tomorrow, so sometimes that fucks with me too. But yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest. But other than that, man, I can't really complain. I had a good weekend. Like my Tar Heels won a basketball game. That was a fucking awesome game Saturday.
And your ultimate Tar Heel lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
however, the two Notre Dame guys, Riley Mills and Julian Young, Love, did really well.
Yeah, neither one of my teams. I mean, I could care less about either of the teams. And I got a friend of mine, a buddy of mine, Jeremiah. He was like, I like he's a Patriots fan, so I'll say, okay, I'll go for the Patriots. That was a fucking mistake. I was like, what the fuck? I kept texting him.
They look like trash.
What's wrong with the fucking Pats? Why can't he throw right? What the fuck's wrong with your quarterback? And I was like, oh, he's 23. And that's even more embarrassing. That's your first big game like that. You just get so at first, when you saw the game, I was like, okay, we're just gonna have a game full of field goals. Yeah, that's what we're doing now. Because and then I'm like, okay, so fucking Seahawks defensive line was on point. I'm like, oh, this game sucks. You know, that was underwhelming. I wasn't really big on the commercials. The highlight for me, I did enjoy the halftime show. But the at the end, you know, when the Seahawks finally decided they were going to score a touchdown, and Pat's like, no, you don't. We're going to score one. And then he threw the pick.
It was like, where was that offense the entire game for the Pats, right?
Yeah. Then he threw the fucking pick six. And they do run. And then my favorite is when he got sacked and it bounced off the dude. Dude caught it and ran in for the touch. I'm like,
So I'm going to be honest. I watched until there was about 4 minutes left in the game, and I was like, I can't make it because I've been feeling like this for, since yesterday. So I was like, no way am I going to stay up for this. So I watched up until the Julian Love, who was a Notre Damer, got the interception for the touchdown. And my favorite play of the entire game was another Notre Damer, Riley Mills, for the Seahawks, literally just ran through the offensive linemen and grabbed Drake May by the shirt and took them both down. And I was like, that's a big boy, because he's a rookie.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He is a big boy.
He was a monster for Notre Dame, and unfortunately, last season he got hurt at the end of the year, and it was like just as he was coming into his own, and he was looking amazing, And that was, by the way, his first career NFL sack.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're gonna get one, it might as well be one of those really good replay moments where you're literally pushing the offensive lineman, who, by the way, probably outweighs him by about 30 pounds, pushing him back right directly into the quarterback, and then grabbing the quarterback by the scruff on the front and just throwing him to the ground. I was like, that's insane.
That's disrespectful.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And I'm not a fan of either of those teams. So like I didn't have a dog in the fight besides the kids that used to play at Notre Dame. So so it was nice to see that them representing the school that they went to.
I just wanted to see a football game, and yeah.
Well, I just wanted to see the commercials, and then they sorely disappointed.
The one of the my favorite this year. There was a couple like the Dunkin' Donuts one was all right, but my favorite was the Budweiser. Budweiser never lets me down.
The Clydesdale?
Yeah. That with the eagle at the end, that was awesome. That was awesome.
You know what's funny about that is I was telling, so my nephew came over last night and him and I watched the game together, and I was telling him a story about Mr. Beast this week was on like Jimmy Fallon, and he basically said that one of the stunts that they were trying to do, they had to completely cancel because there was a bald eagle nest nearby. And if a bald eagle nest is within like 3 miles of something and you're going to make loud noises, you're not allowed to do it. It's like illegal because you can actually scare them. You can knock babies out of the trees. And, so of course he goes, well, can't we just move the nest? And they're like, no, when a bald eagle sits there and says, this is where I'm going to be, you can't move them. You can't do anything about it. So he was like, so now I've got a team that actually surveys the area for bald eagles.
Really?
Wow. So anytime they do like a big event or whatever, he's got a team that goes out there and surveys for bald eagles. But it was so weird because I was telling my nephew that story, and then that commercial came on like immediately after. My favorite of the commercials this year was probably the Chris Hemsworth Alexa commercial, where he was like, no, don't let that thing in here because, and she's like, well, what do you mean? Well, it could kill me like this, or it could kill me like this. And then of course at the end, it's like, would you like me to sign you up for a cinnamon scrub? And he's like, I do like a cinnamon scrub. So my weekend, my week started with like the day after this show, I was doing my trivia game at Ruckus in Morrisville. And I finally got a notice that said that my glasses had arrived. And as you could tell, I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm actually wearing them. And they really do start upsetting my head after a while because like
you get used to them.
Well, and I mean, I've been wearing them for like 4 to 6 hours at a time. So it's not like I'm not trying to get used to them, but I do take them off from time to time just because got to get used to it. But I joked with my nephew last night. I was like, man, I went from 720p vision to 4K. It's 2020 vision, but kids these days don't know what that means. So
I saw that joke you put on Facebook. I'm like, that's so fucking stupid.
But I also got a message from FedEx because I put in a ticket because I hadn't gotten them. And so they closed out the ticket and they said, is there anything else that you need? Right. And so I opened it back up because I went back in. I started another email to them and I wrote back, whatever happened to Larry?
Will you leave fucking Larry alone?
Well, I was trying to make sure Larry was okay. You're an
asshole.
Of course I was trying to be an asshole. I was trying to be an asshole because they were like, good news, they arrived. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Like 4 days ago, you couldn't tell me where they were. Now you're just happy they got there, So I wrote that. They sent back an email that says you've reopened your ticket, and then they immediately sent another one that said your ticket's been reclosed. Because they were like, we are not giving this motherfucker the time of day.
They said, fuck you.
So Friday of last week, about noon, I decided I was going to drive down to South Carolina because my brother-in-law had talked us all into, for charity, doing the polar plunge again. So myself, our friend Fubar, and my brother-in-law Shane on Saturday morning, and I sent you the video of it.
Yeah, but I think you still hung out with Fu.
What's that?
I didn't know you still hung out with Fubar. I thought you guys didn't really hang out that much anymore.
Well, I don't get a chance to hang out with them all that much anymore. But when Shane and Michelle are in town, they hang out with him and Krista all the time.
Oh,
so yeah, I guess it's a couples thing. Like I get invited, and sometimes I'm just like, nah, I don't feel like it. But yeah, so we went down there.
That's weird that Fubar was your friend, and he hangs out with your sister and brother-in-law morning hangs out.
Well, hold on. You know what's really funny about that is Fubar was actually my brother Dave's friend.
Oh, really?
And then he moved in with me, so we became really good friends.
I didn't know that. I thought it was always you and Fubar.
No, it was my brother Dave, and my brother Dave I think was actually mad because it was like you stole my friend.
Really?
I think so. I have no idea of telling, but I mean, John, who we call Fubar, and myself had more in common than Dave and him did. So, but anyways, we went down there, didn't sleep well Friday night. So was up stupid early on Saturday. It was about 39 degrees outside at 8:00 in the morning. And we were like, fuck it, time to jump in the ocean. So we drove their brand new electric Honda pretty much right up to like the entrance to the beach. Like you can't actually drive it on the beach. Otherwise they may have. We walked across, and it had to be the lowest of low tides, Tino. Like we had to walk like half a mile just to get to the damn water.
I know your sister was heckling you.
Oh, she was. But she always does that. And I heckled her back a little bit when we got up and we're all putting our bathing suits on. I'm like, so where's yours? And she goes, fuck you.
Yeah, why didn't she get in?
Well, because that was just it. She's like, I'm not stupid like you guys. So, I mean, I think we raised like $600 for Special Olympics by doing it. So,
yeah, I still wouldn't do
it. Right afterwards, we get back to the house. We jump in the hot tub. We had a bourbon. 9:05 in the morning. We're sitting there drinking bourbon. Just to warm up the insides as well as the outsides.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so did that, drove back yesterday, had enough time to get home and get ready for the big game. Watch the Super Bowl, watch the Bad Bunny presentation. I was fine with the halftime show, even though the only part that was in English was Lady Gaga. And apparently for those that wanted to watch the other one, the one that was hosted by Kid Rock or whatever, apparently the Puppy Bowl outdid that in terms of ratings, almost 3-1.
I think it was pre-taped.
Yeah, because they had actually shown it live at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and then they went back and they showed like the highlights during the halftime show.
And he lip sync. So,
what's that?
And he lip sync not so well.
Oh, you're talking about Kid Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't think Bad Bunny actually lip synced.
Oh no, Bad Bunny was in hit. Bad Bunny was on his shit. I just thought that the sets and everything was purposeful, and a lot of those sets were real places.
Oh yeah. It was definitely a hey, welcome to Puerto Rico moment.
And that couple, that was a real wedding.
Yeah, I knew that, like I had said that to my nephew. I was like, I bet that's a real wedding.
That was cool. That was cool.
That was cool. I mean, Pedro Pascal, Jessica Alba, Cardi B, all being there. That was cool.
What's his name? Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin actually sang.
Yeah. So, but it was cool. We're like, is that Ricky Martin? I'm like, yeah.
I couldn't tell who it was. I was like, this guy looks like he's literally right out of like a Latino soap opera.
No, Nicole and my father-in-law, that's Ricky Martin. I'm like, and they were like, no, because he didn't look. And I'm like, yep, that was him.
I mean, he's had good work done because I mean, the guy's got to be in his almost 60s.
Well, no, he was he was big in the 90s. And when he
that's 30 years ago, brother.
When that the shebang guys,
yeah.
Shebangs.
Something just fell down in this room. I literally hear shh, and I just look over and I just see it go whoop, right onto the floor. Oh well. Anyways,
Ricky Martin is he looked no. He's 2 years older than me. Ricky Martin's 54. Yeah, I was saying he was young. He was in his 20s back then.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so. All right, well, so that's pretty much all I did. I got some writing done last week. I finished the 2-pagers for Zor and for Junior High Horrors for the free comic book day book. finalized my plans for the Vegas trip in May. Got my airfare for San Diego Comic-Con already for July.
How much?
Yeah, and I think that's about all I did this week. I played chess for the first time in like 25 years on Thursday night.
I've never played chess.
So I was doing trivia at Grog Alley, and Brandon, the bartender there that night, he just broke out a chess set and started playing with one of the people sitting at the bar. And I noticed that Brandon was like whooping the guy's ass. So I just walked over and I started moving pieces for the other guy, and at least made it respectable for the loss, right? So then I was like, oh man, when I get done, doing trivia, I wouldn't mind playing. He's like, all right, I'll set it up and we can play. I'm like, cool. He whooped my ass the first time I played. And I was like, well, that's what I get for the first time in 20 plus years playing chess. I guess I'd played when I worked at GameStop some, so maybe 15 years, because I used to play chess with friends with Ward when we weren't doing what we were supposed to at work. Which I guess the statute of limitations is over on that. I'm allowed to say that now. But the second game I played him, like, it was completely a turnaround. I like moved some pieces, and he goes, what are you even? And then all of a sudden, like 2 moves later, I was like, checkmate. And he goes, and he's looking around and he's like, holy shit. And I looked at him and I was like, Brandon, is that the first time up here you've actually lost a game of chess? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, I feel better. So that's pretty much all I did this week. Might play more chess next week or this week, just because it might be fun. But some weekly watching, Tino. What were you watching this week?
More Supergirl. I'm still on my Supergirl kick. Oh, I was starting. So I had my Bernie Mac thing I was going through, right? Now I'm watching Blackish.
Oh, I love Blackish.
That show makes me laugh.
Oh
God.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh my God.
So good in that show. And I love when his ex-wife starts dating Davis in it because he's like half Lawrence Fishburne's age, and the kids call him Pop Pop.
I haven't gotten that far yet, but yeah, cool.
And there's a joke to it though, where like Anthony Anderson goes up to Lawrence Fishburne and goes, "Pops, do you know what the kids are calling Davis?" And he's like, "No, what are they calling that cat?" And he's like, they're calling him Pop Pop because he's twice as good as Pops. And Lawrence Fishburne's just like, what? We can't have none of that.
He is good in that show. So I've seen it was one of them when it was on, like back in the day. I'd watch every once in a while, but so now I'm just like sitting down and watching it. So yeah.
Still in that block of like Modern Family.
Yeah.
And there was always one more. And the Goldbergs. So all three of those. And the Goldbergs, to me, resonate so well because it's a family in Philadelphia, which is where I grew up. So like the things that they say and the way that they act and whatever, it was like, holy crap, that's just like my family back then. Yes. Kind of like when I watched Silver Lining Playbook, I was like, this movie, like that movie ended up winning awards and shit. And I was like, this movie's boring as fuck. But so many of the things that Robert De Niro's doing because of the family in Philly, I'm like, that's just like my grandpa. So what else have you been watching?
My normal and the High Potential. I'm waiting on my shows to come back, man. They're all like March 3rd. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? My shows.
Well, I did see Trackers March 1st. I thought it was late March. It's going to be March 1st.
Yeah.
Watson, by the way, is still not renewed for next season.
That I don't understand because that's a
so we need to get everybody watching some Watson so that one gets to come back for another year. You know what's silly about that is if it was on Fox and not CBS, it'd be on like season 5 already. For the renewals, they'd be like, oh yeah, just keep renewing that shit. Like House went like 9 seasons and it was the same thing every damn episode. At least with Watson, it's House, but it's House with Sherlock Holmes.
What about? I meant to ask you. You watched the The movie with The Rock.
Smashing Machine. Yes.
Yeah. So how was that?
It's very good. It's very good. It's well acted. Emily Blunt is amazing in it.
Okay.
Except the problem I had with her character was I wasn't sure if I was supposed to like her or hate her.
Okay. Because I want to watch it, but
because she's so good and the character arc changes so much by the beginning to the end of the film, how she's actually portrayed in it, that it really, like, you ever, and because of what you do for a living, you probably have heard of this, all about codependent relationships.
Yes.
So that's what Mark Kerr had with his girlfriend.
Gotcha.
And it's so codependent. Like, when he realizes he has a problem and he goes to rehab and does all this stuff, she's sitting there going, "You're just mad that I can still go out and have drinks." Which is typically a problem in those types of relationships.
Yeah.
You really have to have someone that respects your boundaries and respects your new way of life if that's going to be what you want.
Yeah.
So, but The Rock is really good. But I'm going to tell you, like, I can kind of understand why he was not up for an Oscar, because, he's upset that he's not up for the Oscar. It's kind of because he's overshadowed by Emily Blunt and by Ryan Bader, who played Mark Coleman in the movie. Okay. So, and Ryan Bader's not an actor. He does a podcast now, so he knows how to talk, but he's not an actor. And he was amazing in it. And it's because he basically played the guy that was one of Mark Kerr's trainers, and then he's obviously like a really close friend. And the whole idea is that here are two Americans going over to Japan and fighting, and when they used to have Pride Fighting Championship, like, you might go 6 matches in a night to get to the finals. So there were times where they would always be wondering whether or not the two of them would end up having to face each other in like a tournament, and they never ended up having to. Maybe, I don't want to ruin the movie for people that haven't seen it, but
I'm probably gonna go back and watch it then.
Yeah, I'm not going to give any more away of it, but out of the performances, it is definitely The Rock's best performance that he's ever done in a film. It is a little weird looking at him with all the prosthetics on his face.
Yeah, that's gonna throw me off.
And I kind of get the feeling that by the end of the film, he was like, "I don't want to wear those anymore." So, like, you could kind of tell, like he does this thing where he shaves his head towards the end of the movie, and he's just got the beard part right here, and you could tell that it was just like The Rock doesn't want to do like all the face stuff anymore.
Got it.
I mean, because they even covered up all his tattoos and everything, and that's impressive makeup work. I don't care what anybody says, because I don't think it's fake skin that they're putting on it. I think they're painting him.
I could tell you it's hard, because when Nicole and I got married, she's got that fucking Kermit the tattoo on her shoulder.
Tattoo.
Yeah, Kermit the Frog tattoo on her shoulder, and they tried to cover that shit, and you can still see the green. They're trying to get it to match her skin color, and you can still see it. So,
the amount of layers you probably have to cake on, but obviously Hollywood's they probably airbrushed it. Same way that they paint Finn Balor as the demon kind of thing. They probably airbrush it on with like oil based.
And they could have seen. I don't doubt they CGI'd it off now. Nah,
they could have. It probably isn't an expensive thing anymore. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. Tonight's the first night that we're actually broadcasting in higher definition than we had before. We were always 720 before, and tonight we're in 1080.
Really? How?
I looked to see if it was in the settings. I figured if I'm gonna be watching everything with better eyes, I should probably see everything with better eyes. So tonight we're in 1080p because my camera actually does that, and obviously I have a better internet signal now. So all that's out there for us. I watched, as you can see, I wrote some of the things that I watched. I watched the season finale of Fallout, which I guess just got renewed for a 3rd season. It ended amazingly well. Like, that show, you could tell that it kind of saved most of its effects budget for the final episode, because like things were just like body parts were being ripped off. It's just like in the game where you can actually like target body parts and you'll see them explode. It was like doing that in the final episode, which is pretty cool. Have you heard of the show The Beauty? Did I talk about it at all last week? I might have talked about it. You might not have been on the air with me at that point. So it is a new FX show by Ryan Murphy, the same guy that did Glee, American Horror Story, Nip Tuck, and it's about a guy that runs a drug company that creates a drug that when you inject it, you basically become absolutely stunningly beautiful, right? Like people walk up and they're just wanting to touch you, kind of beauty, right?
So you just inject this drug, and if more
and you basically become a completely different person.
Okay.
So like the very first episode, the beginning of it is a guy that they call an incel, you know, and I mean he's way overweight. He's sitting there watching like cam models, and he's sitting there paying them to sit there and do stuff for him. And, you know, he's sitting there going, maybe we should meet. And they're like, no, I don't think so, kind of stuff. And he just can't figure out a way to get, you know, people to look at him in a different way. So he's trying everything and gets suckered into something. And then he basically goes to kill the doctor that suckered him into this procedure that didn't do anything. And, the doctor goes, I have one more option, but you got to meet me at this address. And the guy's like, oh, you're going with me to that address because if it doesn't work, I'm killing you right there. And then I'm killing myself.
Oh, shit.
And the guy's like, trust me, this one will work. And the guy's like, I don't trust you at all because, you know, you've been telling me for a while now that this is going to work and nothing's worked. So he takes him to a hotel, like a really upscale place. And all of a sudden, this really hot woman walks in, goes over to the bed, hops on him, just bangs the hell out of him, gets off and leaves. And the guy's like, well, that doesn't make me feel like I'm better. But then the guy basically, like the doctor is like, you know, give it, you know, 6 hours or whatever. You'll get what I mean. And he's like, well, you're not leaving until, and he's like, yeah, whatever. And the doctor gets up and leaves in the middle of the night because this guy starts going through this thing where like he's super hot and needing to drink like gallons and gallons of water. And all of a sudden you just see like an egg, a giant egg in the room where the guy is. He's inside it. And then he starts busting out. And when he busts out, he's like 180 pounds, pure muscle, 6% body fat, completely different actor, you know? Actually, it might have been the same actor because they might have been using a fat suit on him at the beginning because the doctor definitely had a fat suit kind of thing done to him because it looks like he gets experimented on all the time. And basically what you end up finding out is that while they can inject you with the drug, the other way to get it is that it basically becomes a sexually transmitted disease.
That's the chick that came and had sex with him.
And then but here's the crazy thing. So the FBI is on to the whole thing. They just can't figure out how to stop it, figure out like what the actual like what you have to do to pass it on.
Why are they trying to stop it?
Well, so here's why.
Okay, because, I was about to say that.
Because at the beginning of because right after you see that guy become super hot, they go to the FBI, and the FBI is bringing in these two specialists, and they're sitting in a room watching a screen, and you just see like that woman that had just had sex with that dude upstairs in a car, and she explodes, like spontaneously combusts inside an Uber.
That's the clap for real. What the fuck? That's a god.
So it's
that does more to
fire shit out my dick.
Yeah, when you pee, that's damn.
So obviously the company that makes that guy beautiful now also sends a hitman after him because it's like, well, we can't go spreading this as a disease.
So if he has sex with a woman, then she'll become beautiful.
So what I'm thinking I'm figuring out now is that if they pass bodily fluids on, they then give it to the next person and then they explode.
So they explode or somebody kills them?
No. So the explosion is what happens if if you don't like not pass on your secretions. So like people that have sex can have sex as long as they're using protection and taking care of themselves. But as soon as you decide you're going to, finish inside somebody, you can pass it on.
And then you die, and then you blow up.
And then you pretty much got a very short time frame. From what I'm seeing, I don't know what the exact thing is.
But what I'm saying is, so she came and she did her business, and then she got in the cab and she blew up spontaneously, or somebody killed her.
So they explode. It's not like somebody puts a bomb in them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So why don't they tell them?
What do you mean? Why don't they?
Dude.
Oh, so the hitman.
Up so you don't blow up. You'll be pretty forever.
So the hitman actually decides, instead of killing this guy, that he's going to teach him the rules. So it's almost like Highlander. It's like there can be only one, but as long as we all live in cohesion and whatever. But like when all of a sudden somebody shows up looking hot and they go to like a sex club party or whatever, then all of a sudden it's like, well, now you've got like 30 more people that might have it. So you gotta eliminate when shit's going bad with it, right? So it's pretty cool. It's got Evan Peters, the guy that if you saw the new Tron Ares, he's the one that runs the evil company. He was also.
What is this on?
This is on Hulu.
Hulu Beauty.
It's called The Beauty. New episodes come out, I think, every Wednesday. I think they're on episode 5 now. And Ashton Kutcher is the guy that plays the evil.
Of course he is.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, it's not like Ashton Kutcher like you expect. Because when you see Ashton Kutcher, normally you're expecting, oh, this is just going to be like a silly, whatever. But no, he is diabolical.
Really?
And the most recent episode actually showed how he became who he is, because he was they actually put he's the richest motherfucker in the world.
That is funny.
So I watched that. Also watched a new show called Memory of a Killer, also on Hulu. It's got Patrick Dempsey in it, and it's basically about a hitman for the mob that has been running 2 separate lives pretty much his entire adult life. But now the 2 lives are starting to come together because he's got early onset Alzheimer's. Yeah.
Okay.
So like he's basically had his mob life and he's had his home life with his daughter, right? And all of a sudden he starts like leaving out the newspaper clippings of the people he's supposed to kill, like where his daughter can find them. So
I did see that preview for that.
That one's got Michael Imperioli as like the mob boss. So it's nice that they actually found a guy that can really play a mob boss.
But who's the main character?
Patrick Dempsey.
Yes.
And I don't know if like my buddy Edge was basically saying that he's not a big Patrick Dempsey fan.
Next team.
But I have been enjoying Patrick Dempsey in it. So we got Mr. Helios in the audience. We've got Chris Barrett in the audience. I don't see Michael Turner in the audience tonight.
I know. That Johnny Storm?
Yeah, Johnny Storm. So and then the new season of Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix dropped, and I watched all 8 episodes today because I wasn't feeling well, so I just stayed in front of the TV. So season 4 of that dropped, and it was really good. So if you haven't watched Lincoln Lawyer, it's by the same guy that created Bosch. It's basically a guy that was practicing law out of his Lincoln. That's why they call him the Lincoln Lawyer. They made a Matthew McConaughey movie out of it, but now they actually have a TV series that's gone on for 4 seasons, and it's been good the entire time. So I've been impressed with that one. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching. Obviously, keeping up with my Law and Orders, all that stuff, and School Spirits.
Have you watched?
Which has been really weird.
School Spirits, is that the Ghost?
Yeah,
we watched that. We watched that.
So the new season started on that one.
Oh, has it?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna check that out.
And it's been really, really weird this season. So
and that's on
Paramount.
Paramount.
Yep.
What about have you started watching Scrubs?
It's not out yet. The new one isn't out yet.
Oh, okay.
25th. And then on Hulu on the 26th. So I'll probably watch it on Hulu. But I am excited about it. So, ready to get into some pro wrestling?
Yeah.
All right. Luckily, we had a lighter week this past week because it was after the Royal Rumble. So, I've got results pulled up. Let me pull them up for you. Again, sorry folks, I'm running at about half speed tonight. I can't really help it. All right. So, I'm going to say at the beginning of Monday Night Raw last week, Tino, I was a little surprised that they didn't start with Roman Reigns. You know, normally you win the Rumble, you immediately go, that guy comes out and he's like, Philadelphia! You know, like he comes out and then points at the sign a couple times and, you know, it gets everybody hyped up. But they instead decided to wait until the very last moment to have him come out and do his thing.
His fucking promo was fire.
Well, we'll get to that because obviously they didn't do that at the beginning. We got Bron Breakker takes over Monday Night Raw, and I will point out that when he flipped the table,
I think that's when he got that hernia.
Apparently, he hurt himself so bad that he had emergency hernia surgery this week, and nobody knows what his health status is. Now they could be fucking with us, and he could show up tonight, but I don't think so. I think this is a legit injury, and he's got no one to blame but himself because he tried to lift that brand new style table.
Yeah, I like the fire and I like the intensity that he has because it does remind me of his uncle. But I think he needs to, I won't say tone it down, but you know what I mean?
The initial segment, the thing that I really liked about it was that when he got done doing his thing and he started going up the ramp, one, he fell down on his way up the ramp,
and
which I thought was funny.
Do that, yeah.
But then we got something that we really hadn't seen since the Attitude Era if they do it correctly. And that was LA Knight coming out of nowhere and LA Knight smashing the other two and then getting the fuck out. And it felt to me like a Stone Cold moment.
And you notice that I wonder if Bron knew he was hurt then because he didn't run back for the ring, or was he supposed to stand on that ramp going like this? Like, oh shit. You know?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I wonder if he knew he was hurt.
And that might be it. He might have called an audible. It might have just been that that LA Knight was supposed to get one up on the other two or other four. Like I know that he hit Bronson Reed, but you know, like
he hit them all. He hit them all.
He did. But you know, they set up the match for later between him and Javon Evans versus new El Grande Americano.
Was it a new? Yeah.
Yeah, because it brought down original El Grande Americano.
When are we gonna because it's ridiculous now.
So the rumor is that those two are going to have a mask versus mask match at WrestleMania. And I wouldn't do it at WrestleMania. I'd do it on a AAA show. Because right now, El Grande Americano's over in Mexico more than he's over here.
Yeah.
He's over, don't get me wrong, but he's definitely more over down there. The match itself did not live up to expectations, with Evans and Americano never really finding their in-ring chemistry.
Okay.
Gunther promo happens next. Comes out and does the AJ Styles music. Comes out the AJ Styles dance.
That was hilarious. That was and at first I'm like, AJ didn't retire. So I kind of got excited, and then I'm like, he fucking got me.
So you know what name that I keep hearing that Gunther may retire that we hadn't been playing around with was Rey Mysterio.
Really?
Yeah, if his contract's coming up, they are not looking to resign him, or maybe he doesn't want to go anymore. I mean, because the guy's like mid-50s at this point, isn't he?
Ray, yeah. He's been, yeah.
I mean, he still looks amazing, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, still out.
Femi wrecks the War Raiders. The War Raiders come down expecting a tag team to come down. They have no idea what's going on.
That shit was funny.
And then, oof.
That shit was funny.
So, did they just punk out the War Raiders? Or was it because they didn't seem like they were prepared for the match? It's okay. Is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they need it. They need it because the War Raiders are established enough. And I'm not saying that Oba's not established, but I think they're big enough to be believable to help put him over the top a little bit. You know what I mean? If he had come out to little guys, they'd have been like, oh, whatever.
I just hope they reward them for that. You know, like a 2-on-1 should never be the 2 loses to the 1. You know, you got to be really, really over, like Stone Cold, to sneak out of there with a win.
That's what they used to do with Bron Breakker and stuff. I mean, they want to make him believable, push him over.
You mean Braun Strowman?
Yeah, Braun Strowman. I'm sorry, push him over as a believable big man. You know, they did that. They always do that with the bigger guys.
No, and I'm 100% behind what you're saying. I agree with that. I felt like I said, I think it was a little bit of both. I think that unfortunately the War Raiders, they hadn't been doing anything with them, so it's like, let's get them on TV. And then it's like, let's get them on TV and then punk them out. So, but let's do it in a way that's kind of like, oh, I'm selling the knee injury all match, you know, like that kind of thing. So them not being prepared for a match against Oba at least allows them to save a little bit of face in that situation. At the same time, I am beginning to think that what they really need to do with Oba Femi is go after the Goldberg record of like 176 wins.
But that could take forever. And Goldberg, I don't think Goldberg did. I think they started escalating.
Oh, they did. They did, because they were saying that he was winning like 4 matches in a day, you know, on a house show. But I think that Oba is the type of character that if you actually do a streak, it's believable. And the reason why I really say it is because I don't know if you heard the chant on Friday night, but their Oba chant sounded like Goldberg. And I mean, like when he was coming down,
I didn't hear it.
Best thing I think I saw last week though was someone putting on Twitter that, you know, you're a bad motherfucker when you go down to the ring wearing a thing of Dunkin' Donuts munchkins around your neck. And I can't remember who it was. It might have been, I think it was Jordan Grace. She sat there and said, this is the funniest thing I've seen all week. So I am also saying it was the funniest thing I saw all week. Let's get back to it though. Bleacher Report gave that segment an A because they thought that it was a great way to introduce him. However, they made sure that it was known that Oba Femi was still a free agent. So he does not have a home right now, and I think it's because he's going to be on both shows for a while, which I'm completely fine with. Bella Twins are back. Did you notice that they cheered Brie, but they booed Nikki?
Yeah.
And Nikki really did not look like she was happy about it.
I don't know what they're gonna do. What are they trying to do?
They're gonna go after the women's tag team championships, but Bleacher Report gave that segment a D.
But you got one face and one heel. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, you and I months ago. Sorry, the drawer fell on me again. Months ago, I sat there and said that there was I think it was Gargano and Ciampa, and I said I'd really like to see them do the dichotomy of babyface Ciampa and babyface Gargano and heel Ciampa in the same tag team and still continue to win matches, or Carmelo and The Miz, you know, same thing. We have seen a little bit of it, but they've never really played it up. I think what it really means is Brie Bella's turning heel, whether she wants to or not.
Yeah.
Bleacher Report's statement on that segment was the definition of a whole TV segment that could have been an email.
Wow.
Yeah. There was nothing to this. The promo was bad. There was no energy from either Brie or Nikki, and the result of the segment fell extremely flat. Penta versus Bronson Reed. So it wasn't Bronson Reed versus LA Knight because they thought LA Knight had gone home. That's right. And instead, LA Knight appears, delivers the BFT, and Penta defeats Bronson Reed. Again, I liked it. Bleacher Report gave it a C+. I liked it because Bronson Reed stays strong in the loss. Penta finally gets back on the winning side here, but it makes LA Knight look like a badass.
Mm-hmm.
And I
should have been doing all along.
I know, but again, if done correctly, and not just an intercontinental title reign, if done correctly, this could finally launch him to where he's supposed, where fans think he should be.
Okay.
And if you want, we can talk about the Unreal stuff with him again, just like the Chelsea Green stuff, because that's still in the news this week. Dirty Dom returns and Liv Morgan celebrated. And as much as I Liv Morgan, take the microphone away from her.
Why?
She got to like screech level, like dogs only are the ones that can hear this stuff. Except my ears felt like they were bleeding.
She always does. You never complained about it before.
You're right. And maybe they just turned her microphone up louder. Maybe I was listening to it louder. I don't know. But her saying that she's the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time is a pretty big claim. Who do you think she's going to choose?
I thought she was going to choose Fakir. I thought that's what they were going with. I thought that makes more sense for her to choose Fakir, so her and Big Mommy Cool can go at it.
I do like her using the big sexy gimmick.
Yeah.
So they gave that
a modern day Shawn Michaels Diesel,
and it definitely has that in terms of the size comparison. Mysterio, he's so over. It's
who's that coming out the sky? R-E-Y Mysterio.
The other Mysterio.
Oh,
Dirty Dom. Philadelphia Street Fight for the Women's World Championship. I was a little surprised by the outcome here. I thought Raquel Rodriguez was going to get the win because I thought that this was going to lead to Liv versus Raquel instead of Liv versus Stephanie. And right now it looks like they're just going to keep picking at each other and accidentally hitting each other until one of them finally snaps. If I had to guess, it's going to be at Elimination Chamber. So Stephanie Vaquera gets the win. Good match for what it was. I thought that the street fight element actually gave Raquel a nice little, like, we can cover up her
weaknesses.
Yeah. In business we call them opportunities, but yeah. Sorry, folks, I haven't been keeping an eye on the chat. I see that we got Southpaw in there now. Can Oba and Joyce be on the same show? Joyce?
You know who Joyce is?
Royce Keys. I think is who he means. I think it means Royce Keys. Yeah, they can. Just Royce Keys will get eaten up.
Oh.
After that match, we get Roman Reigns to come out. And he starts and he says, Philadelphia, acknowledge me. And the crowd goes nuts. Everybody puts the ones up. And then we get to Cult of Personality plays. CM Punk comes down. And CM Punk just starts going on a rant about Finn Balor. And I loved Roman's response to this, Tino, when he sits there and he goes, you must have got hit in the head too hard or something. I'm in the ring. This is my show. Talking about Finn Balor. What do you think this is? SmackDown?
Yeah.
This may have been Roman's best promo ever. Yet it wasn't infallible. I don't think either one of them were perfect in this promo. I think that they both probably went long. I think that they both probably slipped up here and there, just little bits. Like it just didn't have the same fire that you were really expecting. But it worked, and it worked in such a way that when he finally just said, I'm not choosing Drew because he's the harder opponent. I'm choosing you because I hate you. Because I've always hated you. Because I'll hate you even after I take that championship from you. And
he told me, he said, in that the WrestleMania, you will acknowledge me. Mic drop. I'm like, that's it. That's a pipe bomb.
It was, but obviously I think that was totally planned that Roman gets the last word last night. And I think that you'll see as we get closer to Mania that we're going to see where Punk gets the last word sometimes, Roman gets the last. To me, this match has Cena versus Rock feels. In terms of what they can do on the promo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you came back. You stole my wise man. And Punk's like, he was my best friend before he was your wise man. Like, you know? And now he's hanging out with the kids over there. I just hope they don't decide, let's throw Brock into this mix. I hope that they don't throw Finn Balor into this match. I think that we're going to have Finn versus Punk at Elimination Chamber, which will end with Punk getting the win, but it's going to be after Roman comes down and stares at him or whatever. But let me ask you something. As fire as this whole thing was, wouldn't it be really cool if Roman got so far into Punk's head that a rematch with Finn Balor, he ends up losing that match? And Finn becomes the world heavyweight champion.
No.
Did you say no? Or
I said, oh.
Yeah. And not even necessarily for the whole month of March or whatever, but you win it at Elimination Chamber, and then like Punk ends up winning it back like 2 weeks later, so you still have another 2 weeks to continue building that Roman match. But for 2 weeks, fans get put on edge because they start thinking, Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? like Roman's probably thinking at that point, can I change my mind and go with Drew? What did you think of how bad they dogged SmackDown and Drew McIntyre?
Who, Roman and Punk?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do. They're trying to prove that Raw is supposed to be the flagship show, so of course they're going to put down SmackDown.
Well, but while Roman was on that show, while Roman was on SmackDown every 6 months, that was the number one show.
Mm-hmm.
So now that he's on Raw, Raw's the number one show because Roman's on it. And that's what they're trying to say, right? All right. Ready to move on to NXT? Because some big shit happened there.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, well.
Some big shit happened there.
The Robert Stone thing?
Well, that wasn't even big. That was a quick backstage segment. Shawn Michaels going, hey, Robert Stone, you're interim GM now.
Big shit happened.
How about the ladder match?
Oh, yeah. But you knew who was going to win that.
I'm going to tell you, I didn't know who was going to win that, because if there's any program that surprises me from time to time, it's NXT.
I figured it'd be Joe Hendry. I mean,
Well, we started the show with Izzy Dane versus Lola Vice versus Tia Hale. And Izzy Dane wins the match.
And after that, I thought for sure Tatum was going to come out again and go after Izzy, because I'm thinking Tatum's probably going to be the one to take that belt from Izzy.
What a good start to NXT.
And was that a start? When did I thought at the start they were outside, and your girl Blake attacked Miss Parker outside.
There might have been.
Was that the beginning? Or is that?
Let's see. Show opened with Shawn Michaels telling Robert Stone that he was appointed the interim GM. They never mentioned Ava by name.
She gone.
When we went live, all three women were already in the ring for the North American Women's Championship.
I got a question,
Sure.
and we'll probably get to it later. But it's bugging me the past 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
You got Lexis King.
Yep.
Ariana Grace.
Yep.
And Stax. And what they're trying to do is build up a second generation whatever, right? So you got Alexis King, I get.
Is Stax? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, he is her boyfriend.
Because so you got Lexis King, you got the dude from Chase U, the long hair, that's Fit Finley's son.
Oh, yeah.
They're going after Charlie Dempsey now, William Regal's son. And there was one more.
So are they just going after the no quarter catch crew?
Well, no, they're going after all the those are just the. What do you mean just going after? Dempsey's the only one from No Quarter Catch crew. But all of them are second generation wrestlers except Stax. So how the fuck is he? Because I even went to look to see who the fuck is his parents. And this motherfucker was born here in Raleigh, by the way, and he went to NC State. He's from Raleigh. He grew up here, but. Huh. Who the fuck is it? So he's not a second generation shit. So yeah, that irks me. I don't know why it irks me, but it does.
Michael just sent me the page layouts for Zor for Comic Book Day, but his email had 2-time Ringo nominated creator Michael Adams on it. And I only get to claim that I'm a one-time because
that's funny.
I'm only a one-time, but I thought that just reading like the little bit of email right there. Again, I think that well, I'll put it this way: if I had to guess, he'll be the first guy kicked out of the group. Because obviously he's not second generation, so he'd likely be the first one kicked out. Kind of like what was it? Tama Tonga back in the day was kicked out of Legacy.
Yeah, I guess.
Tony D finally speaks. That dude's got a Ciampa beard going.
Mm-hmm.
So he's upset that he's not in a family anymore, but now he's back to punish Dark State.
But he's by himself. I don't know.
He's a monster, though. Remember, I said he's a monster, though. And remember, he's the first guy to beat Obafemi.
Yeah, but that was Obafemi. It's still 4-on-1.
Obafemi just beat 2 guys. 2 big dudes.
Yeah, but Tony D's not as big as Obafemi.
Elio LaFleur versus Charlie Dempsey.
I still don't get that, dude.
Which part?
Elio, the whole that whole gimmick. I just don't understand it. I guess
Who is he?
I don't know. I thought he was.
French luchador.
Yeah, I thought he was. What's his name? The barefoot wrestler at first. Riddle. I thought it was Riddle, but it's not apparently.
No. Elegance brand versus Zaruka, and we're definitely seeing some friction between Zaruka.
See, everybody thinks that everybody thinks that it's going to be Zarya that turns heel. I almost want to say I think it's going to be Soul. I think that'd be a swerve.
I'll tell you why I could see it. And why I could see it would be the same reason why I like watching NXT, because NXT still as the growing and developmental brand of WWE sits there and really tries to make sure that the people that they want to move up, that they don't have a spot for on the main rosters, gets to learn every part of the business, right? So they get to learn how to be a good guy. They get to learn how to be a bad guy. And then if they want to, they can flip-flop between the two and determine, okay, they're better as this, so this is what we're really going to push them as first when they get to the main roster.
Right.
So with Soul, I could totally see it because she's been a babyface pretty much the entire time she's been there. So it almost is time to teach her to be a heel and since I don't think Zarya is really taken to the NXT style as fast as some of the other people, it'd be the perfect way to get her into matches where she's the babyface. And maybe as Soul gets ready to bow out of NXT, you sit there and you do a big time thing between, you know, a big time storyline between the two of them, where Soul's the heel and Zarya is the baby.
Yeah.
Elegance Brand defeats them. Chase U versus Stax and Lexus King.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that Chase U lost, got told you can't be together anymore, and then they put it back together anyway.
Why?
It's just boring. Like I really liked the down on his luck Chase. Kind of like I liked Happy Corbin, who wasn't happy.
You're right. Yeah.
So, finding a new challenger for the women's division. Robert Stone said his first act as GM is to book a tag match between Ren QCC and Zaruka, and whoever gets the pin earns the title shot. And I guess that's going to be next week.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the ladder match. Now, the people in the match were Keanu Carver, Ricky Saints. They actually wrote Ricky Starks. Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, Shiloh Hill, Sean Legacy, and Jackson Drake. I don't like the name Sean Legacy.
Why?
Is he a legacy wrestler? Like, is he like a third generation or something? Or they just gave him the name Legacy, like John Legend just decided to be John Legend?
I don't know.
Because John Legend's last name really isn't Legend. You know that, right?
It's a fucking name, dude. Why are we debating it?
Early in the match, Hendry and Saints emerged as the favorites. They brought the most experience to the ring, and they seemed like the safest picks out of the 7. And what did it come down to? Came down to the 2 of them. And Ricky Saints takes the spill off the ladder. And Joe Hendry, in an interview afterwards, actually said that he remembered the Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho ladder match where he used the belt as a weapon at the top to hit him in the head and knock him off. So Joe Hendry is your new NXT heavyweight champion. You said it was an obvious decision, but but does he need it? And is it something where you expect him to carry it for a while?
I think that yes. I don't think he needs it, but I think he needs it to because what's going to happen is Dion Lennox. Because remember, Hendry had.
Okay, I'm back in focus.
Hendry had has beef with Dark State. I think Lennox is going to be the one that takes that belt off of Hendry. So it makes sense.
And then you have a heel that has people watching his back.
Yeah, because then he'll have that. Dark State already has the tag team, so I can see him being the champion, and let them have all the gold for a little bit. So yeah.
So say his name and he appears. So Tino, I want to introduce you to our guest tonight. I'm kidding, he's not really here. Oh, speaking of that, did you see this week Will Ospreay put on a show for one of the smaller promotions. He obviously wasn't wrestling himself, but he was the producer on the show. And they had 2 indie wrestlers dressed up as DX. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, John Cena's music came on for the Battle Royal that they were doing. And like you hear apple juice, and you see the thing open up, and there's nobody. And then all of a sudden they start selling for nobody in the ring. And then they both get thrown over the top rope.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's a pretty funny video. They're like, John Cena is here. He's back out of retirement. Oh my god.
That's funny. All right, I give him that.
And like the one guy dressed as Triple H sat there and actually gave him a pedigree, and then the Shawn Michaels gave him a super kick, and then he just hulked up from it, and he didn't get to do an attitude adjustment, obviously, because I mean, how do you do that? But he then ducks underneath the clothesline and clotheslines them both over the top rope. It's pretty funny. Dynamite and Collision. And I'm going to try to loop these both together.
Yes, please.
We are getting closer to All In Australia, which I believe is this weekend, which, by the way, is a full-on pay-per-view style card. I don't know if you looked at the card for this weekend, but for Valentine's Day weekend.
And then it is a pay-per-view, though, or is it?
No, I think it's on TBS or TNT.
Oh,
because I think it's on during the Collision time. Now I could be wrong. So it by the way, in the comments, Chris Barrett or somebody, if you can find out for us whether or not All In Australia is actually a pay-per-view, because right now I just think it's
All
on
In
that.
are usually pay-per-views.
You're right. So they were at the Palms in Las Vegas. The Death Riders versus Don Callis family. Takeshita, Clone, and Alexander defeat Garcia, Mox, and Pac by pinfall. I'm trying to figure out who actually took the pinfall there, because I don't remember watching this match. Yep, don't know. But this sets up Takeshita versus Moxley at All In Australia. Dynamite started with old Collision style promos from MJF, Brody King, Kenny Omega, Don Callis, the Babes of Wrath, and Mega Bad. Swerve Strickland let Prince Nana speak for him in an interview with Renee Paquette, confirming the mogul is still focused on the world title. And then they did a hype vignette for Will Ospreay, who, by the way, there is no confirmation on when he will return.
Yeah. You sure it's All In? Because this is saying August 2026.
Well, look up the Australia show. Look up AEW February 13th. How about that? Timeless Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy versus Jordan Oasis and Brittany Brooks. I think we know who's going to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
The spotlight on Cassidy and Storm is interesting in setting the stage for more mixed tag action, which means, guess what? New tag titles are coming.
It's Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Grand Slam Australia.
But it does.
And I don't think they're doing it in Perth like WWE's been doing it. They're doing it on the other side of Australia. Hangman Page versus Mark Davis. Hangman defeats Davis by pinfall to advance to Grand Slam Australia to fight AEW Men's World Championship at Revolution. So the winner of the next match will face Hangman. Kenny Omega versus Andrade El Idolo. Now, I want to point out that Hangman had to face Mark Davis, and Kenny Omega had to face Andrade.
Yep.
How the fuck did Mark Davis get to the semifinals of this?
I have no idea.
I think they just threw him in there.
You're right. It's Saturday, February 14th, 8 p.m. It says TNT and HBO Max. So you're right. So it's Grand Slam, but Grand Slams usually are.
So it's a collision, but
Yeah.
but you know what it probably is? It's probably instead of doing the battle for the belts night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all right, Kenny Omega versus Andrade El Idolo, and Andrade gets his OnlyFans women some time on TV. And I got to tell you, I was listening to Justin LaBar and Jonathan Hood this weekend, and they were talking about how if they're going to continue having like OnlyFans influencers as his groupies, if he goes on to face MJF at Revolution, they're going to have to warn these women that MJF is going to talk about them like they're trash bag hoes. Like constantly, and they're probably going to want to go onto social media and like rag on it or whatever. And they're going to have to let them know, hey, we're paying you to just take it. You know, just like you do on your OnlyFans page. We're paying you to just take it. You didn't like that one?
The views of Rob Potcheck are his and his alone. That did not reflect the views of, especially Tino, part of the Potsy and Tino show. I'm not getting canceled because you're dumb.
Whatever. Swerve versus Omega, it could be a special match because Swerve actually comes down during this. But Andrade beats Omega by pinfall. Now, this is the first real shock in a while to me because they were just talking about how Kenny was in better shape than he's been in years.
Mm.
And Andrade comes in and just starts going roughshod on the current roster. How do you feel about it? You feel it's just Tony Khan sitting there saying Triple H didn't know what to do with this guy?
For now, until he gets bored with them and his new flavor of the month comes in. And he gets pushed back down the card too.
Babes of Wrath versus Mega Bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at this card. Yeah.
Now, this was one of those eliminator matches where if they beat the tag team champions, they get another match against the tag champions for the tag team championship.
Yeah, so they're going to be their Grand Slam.
Yes, where Harley Cameron is the hometown favorite.
Yep. Which means they're going to lose their titles there.
I don't know. I don't think they will.
Hmm.
I think they're going to give Harley Cameron the homecoming she deserves. National Championship: Ricochet versus Jungle Jack Perry.
Oh, that's not on this one. Okay. Oh, I'm looking at the card for because there's only right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches.
Well, remember it is still a Collision time slot, so it's only going to be a 2-hour show.
Oh yeah,
plus an overrun. The cheap win could set up a third contest, but it is likely best to move on to other stories for Ricochet. Ricochet's been making news in on social media recently, saying that WWE tarnished his legacy. Some people have taken real offense to it. Other people have stood up for him. Your thoughts?
How they tarnished his legacy? I hadn't heard that.
I mean, he never made it to the top of the card there, but he's been at the top of the card everywhere else.
I was watching a TikTok and they were like how a lot of the people who left WWE and now have gone to like AEW and now they're getting titles getting made. They were like, well, maybe they didn't have the it factor. I'm like, oh shit. The it factor that WWE is looking for.
Well, I think you're right. One of the things we didn't talk about, and I actually had it written down to specifically talk about it, was I called it the trade between Tommaso Ciampa and Will Hobbs. Because it kind of felt like they both showed up 1 week apart. They both left a week ago. It was like they traded them. It was like Tony Khan and Triple H finally sat there and said, hey, I got this guy who doesn't want to be here. I got this guy that doesn't want to be here. You want to trade? Now, granted, that obviously didn't happen, but when you look at it, they both immediately stepped into something better.
Yeah.
At least better currently. I mean, like, obviously, Ciampa was 2-time NXT champion, multi-time tag team champion. Royce Keys now, as Powerhouse Hobbs, was a TNT champion, the FTW champion, and the Trios champion. So it's not like they didn't try to do stuff with him, but again, I think that his appearance and what he did in the Royal Rumble already outdid most of what he had done over the last 3 or 4 years.
And his body type is more what WWE is looking for over a Ciampa.
Doink. Absolutely.
And AEW likes Ciampa's body style. I think
and age.
Yeah.
Age, experience, everything else. Like Ciampa's sitting there saying, I've been wrestling for 20 years at this point. I got 10 more years to do this. And the experience that I learned and everything that I learned in terms of storytelling and everything else is going to allow me to be a much better person going over to AEW. And I got to agree with him. I would love Bryan Danielson to come out of retirement and have a 30-minute match against Ciampa. But I digress. We're probably not going to get that. Though there is some Bryan Danielson news this week that I'll try to sneak in there. AEW World Championship Eliminator, MJF versus Brody King. Now, I want to point out that up until now, I don't think anybody had ever won one of these Eliminator matches. Right?
Megan Bain.
Well, Megan Bain and Penelope Ford did on the same night. But if they did, but it never happened for the Men's World Championship.
Okay.
So this match, Brody King versus MJF, started after the overrun began. So, of course, you get Tony Schiavone. We'll stay with this as long as we can, folks. And it's like, is it just, I just nailed myself in the leg with this stupid thing. I'm going to have to throw out the drawer. I told my brother-in-law I have to buy a new desk so I can hook everything up properly. But the match takes less than like 2 minutes. And it had the same finish as like Gunther versus at least one person in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So Brody King versus MJF at Grand Slam Australia. Does Brody King have a chance? Why not?
Because that match is supposed to be Hangman is taking that belt back from MJF.
Okay. Because I'm starting to think that Andrade is getting that match at Revolution.
Does Andrade have any beef with MJF? And then that's heel versus heel.
Well, it's MJF versus Hangman to determine who gets the match at Grand Slam.
It's Hangman and Andrade.
Right. Whoever wins that match, though, gets MJF at
yeah, you said MJF versus Hangman.
Oh, did I? Sorry. Andrade versus Hangman is as far as I know, is the main, is the co-main, because the main event's going to be MJF versus Brody King for the World Heavyweight Championship that night.
Andrade's going to beat Hangman?
I think he is.
Then you got heel versus heel. So you think that Brody goes over then?
Well, I think that when you look at MJF gets. Well, I think MJF gets the babyface pop when he's up against the heel.
Okay.
And you have to admit that MJF gets the pop half the time anyway. But it allows for some interesting stuff on that. So, but the second eliminator match of the night ends with the challengers actually getting the chance at the championship. It seemed like very WWE booking.
Did you do the hair versus hair match? Did you mention that?
Ciampa versus Ricochet?
No, I said hair versus hair.
So I originally thought that was just going to be Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir, but it's not. It is one of these what do they call it?
Tag teams.
Yeah, but it's not just intergender tag team. It's going to be Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy, so Orange Tony versus Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir.
I think the sheepdog gets shaved.
I think it's obvious, which is why I'm hoping that's not the case.
Is it both of them? So like they both lose their hair, or just whoever gets pinned? Whoever
gets pinned or submitted. So as of right now, I would say that it's likely that it's Wheeler Yuta.
Be fun if it's one of the women though.
And you know what? Like Tony Storm, I could totally see her doing the whole Kurt Angle thing where she comes down wearing a fake wig, but the wrestling helmet to go with it going forward, just so that she can still have hair. But who knows? So pretty interesting. All right, here comes Collision. And I really only want to talk about a couple things here. So the first thing I want to talk about is I guess it started with the Young Bucks beating the Gates of Agony, but there was something where Eddie Kingston and the Rascals and someone else were having a street fight. Kevin Knight defeated Scorpio Sky. Man, I feel bad for Scorpio Sky.
Why? You rag Kevin Knight about not winning anything, and he wins one. Now you feel bad for the
Well,
person
Scorpio Sky got stuck in AEW without his tag team partners. He's just kind of there.
He's still there with Scorpio Sky's still there with
Christopher Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Daniels doesn't wrestle anymore.
But he's still there. He's his manager.
Mina Shirakawa defeats Viva Van. Don't even know who that is. Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir defeat Dante Martin and Zeta Steel. Mixed tag rules, blah, blah, blah. Tekla versus Brittany Brooks. Parking lot brawl. That's what I want to talk about. Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, Desmond Xavier, and Zach Wentz defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans, Big Bill, and Brian Keith.
I think the funniest part of that match is when they threw Brian Keith in that limo. That was smoke was coming out, and they went in, and he came out coughing. And he came out and said, "Lightweight."
Roderick Strong is going to change his luck in the TNT title open challenge. Mark Briscoe believes Strong can win, and he asked for the first shot as conglomeration buddies. Strong looked Briscoe in the eye to say that he is not in the conglomeration.
And you notice that Chump was calling the belt Sylvie.
No, but it's not gold.
Yeah, so he called it Sylvie. It was
I love it.
Hilarious.
I love it. Tommaso Ciampa versus Roderick Strong versus Claudio Castagnoli was a banger.
Yep.
Hectic pace and clubbering and clobbering. The closing minutes went into overtime. Ciampa hit a DDT and an Angel's Wings on Claudio. Claudio caught Ciampa's running knee to counter before the giant swing. Strong drop kicked Ciampa to end the ride. Ciampa blindsided Strong with a running knee out of nowhere. That was the final blow. Ciampa pinned Strong. Afterwards, Kyle Fletcher issued the challenge. For next week on Dynamite, he wants the TNT title. Ciampa was game to defend Sylvie. So they're making Collision at least one match a night worth watching. But I would say 2 matches this week because of the parking lot brawl.
Yeah, I agree.
It's funny because that show's slowly becoming more of like the what did they used to call it? Shotgun Saturday Night.
Yeah.
So I'm down for it. But yeah, Ciampa has been rejuvenated.
Yeah, and he's reuniting with a lot of his ROH buddies too.
Now, quick thing to point out, as of this week, if you look at the Twitter handles of Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, they no longer have any statement of anything WWE on theirs.
Oh.
And it even says for booking information and has an email address.
Oh.
So we're going to get Johnny Wrestling and Candice LeRae in AEW, where, let's be real, after the Black and Gold brand, that's the best spot for them.
I hope not.
What's that?
I hope not.
Well, I'm not saying that you put them back in a tag team with Ciampa. I'm saying that you sit there and you do it as, you know, they both go on runs. Maybe put Johnny on Dynamite, put Ciampa on Collision. That way they stay away from each other for a while.
Yeah.
And then maybe finally put DIY versus the Young Bucks.
Possibility, yeah.
You know, because you're right. If they make them a tag team, then they're just going to feed them, right? Like, they might even give them a tag team championship at one point, but they're either going to get fed to FTR or they're going to get fed to the Bucks. So it just is what it is. So I'd actually put up Ciampa's first defense banger.
Yes.
Ciampa finally showing what he actually can do, finally getting time to wrestle rather than just sports entertain.
Yes.
And
Like what he's doing in ROH.
yeah, well, I also want to point out that Ciampa became a really good entertainer. Like when he was doing those spots on TikToks and X videos where he was trying to catch Randy Orton with an RKO, and he just yelled from out of nowhere, and then Randy would just move out of the way at the last second.
Those were hysterical.
They were amazing, and they showed that those guys both had comedic chops. You know, hell, it showed Randy had some comedic chops.
Yeah.
All right, we got SmackDown left. You ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock this out.
I was watching this, by the way. I was watching this before we got on here because I didn't get a chance to watch it on Friday.
Oh.
And I want to start with this.
I don't understand why. A lot of people are pissed off that he's doing that because he only does that, and I've noticed a pattern too. He only does that in February. He only pulls that out on Black History.
Oh,
he does.
Oh,
you probably never even heard it. The only time he pulls that out is in February. If you go back and look.
Well, it is his real middle name, isn't it?
No.
What?
No.
I thought that was his middle name.
I'm about to go see.
I very well could be wrong. I know that he's half Cuban.
But Raheem is not Cuban.
No, it's most definitely not.
Cody Garrett Runnels Road.
Okay, well, he's not Raheem then. And this week at least he said that his nickname was Raheem. So let's talk about this rebuttal from Cody in the ring, obviously after backstage interaction with Drew McIntyre. Tino, Cody goes out there, and I guess Triple H has as much faith in him as he does in both Punk and Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Because he gave Cody that segment by himself rather than have it be a back and forth with somebody.
Right.
And I was listening to it, and Cody hit some good markers, but there were some points where I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
He doesn't know.
And I heard Mark Henry this week basically say that when Cody gets really amped up, he gets fired up, suddenly he just starts talking with that lisp just like his daddy did. And we all know that Cody does have a lisp.
Yeah.
And he tries really hard to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see him, and I see someone named Dude Man in the audience, you may have to tell me who you actually are, Dude Man, because I can't see your little avatar or anything from where I'm at. But hello to you too. I don't even think Cody gets in the title picture by WrestleMania.
No, and he doesn't need to.
You're right; he does not need to. But let's go ahead and shop real quick. Who's a good opponent for him? If by chance you're thinking Jacob versus Drew at Mania,
I think that's going to end up being a 3-way
between the three of them.
Not Cody. I think it's going to be Jacob. It might be Cody because he might win this because Cody and Jacob both have qualifying match next week, and I think they're both in the same qualifying match next week. So I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah, but I want to point out a lot of people forget this. Oftentimes when they do the qualifiers that are triple threat qualifiers, they then do like an 8-man match to determine the last spot, like a second chance.
But yeah, people who lost.
Yeah. So all those people, like it'll be a 6-man match or whatever, because I guess there's 6 spots. So all those people that lose have a possibility. I would assume that, unless Triple H isn't going that route this year.
Hmm.
But You know, the interesting thing about it is obviously and I guess they're now claiming that the CM Punk versus Roman Reigns is the night 2 main event. So everything else is just leading up to that match.
Right.
So you're basically playing for second place right now. I kind of feel like, and I like that they, with Liv, decided not to tell us where they're going. And sorry, here, let me put SmackDown up here. I like that with Liv, they didn't tell us exactly where she's going yet. But I still kind of think that she's going to choose the Raw side. Which would be a little bit weird, because that would mean both Rumble winners chose Raw.
It can happen.
I mean, it's happened in the past where they both choose SmackDown, so I get it. It's just you want to show that the shows are equal, and when you do that, you want to give one to each. And I'm glad that Joe Tessitore on Friday night, by the way, sat there when he was talking about these qualifying matches for the for the Elimination Chamber, said that it's for an opportunity at the Undisputed Championship or the Women's Championship. But he didn't say it's to main event WrestleMania, because when Liv Morgan won her match at the Royal Rumble, Michael Cole yelled, "She now is going to main event WrestleMania," and I was sitting there going, "No, the fuck, she's not." Like, unless you do something really crazy to get us to a night 1 main event where it's Liv Morgan versus blah 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 blah. We're not getting Liv Morgan in the main event. She might open the show. And you could try to sell me on that's the second biggest match of the night. But whatever. Anyways, let's get back to SmackDown. Cody Rhodes holds a grudge, is what Bleacher Report said. They basically said that that he didn't like the fact that Roman and Punk said what they did, and the reason for the Raheem comment was because if they're doing a measuring contest, that's how he got the nickname Raheem. And he said this in February, as you mentioned. Now, surprisingly, the first match of the night was a women's tag team title match between Rio, Kiana James, and Julia. And Rio defeated Kiana James and Julia. But I kind of felt like this looked like Kiana James's best outing since being on the main roster.
No, she's had a couple. She had that one. She had, what was the other one where she looked strong?
Was it against Chelsea Green?
No, I think it was the one where they won this match. Remember, I was complimenting her, or was it the Royal Rumble? Or was it a match on? She is underrated.
I agree. I think that they know that they have a talent, except she's really in a bad gimmick right now. Although I did like her finishing move is called the 401k. I was just hoping it would be like a spin that would go like 1.5 revolutions. So that way the 401 would actually come into play with like what it actually is.
Yeah,
because they always talk about the 450 or whatever.
Yeah.
She'd be like, I don't get fully over like that, so it's a 401. Bleacher Report mentions that Ripley looks like a rock star, and she really does.
Mm-hmm.
She has outgrown the women's championships completely. So I guess they're hoping that her and Io actually make these tag team championships into something. We'll see if it works. Io Sky hit that weird suicide dive outside the ring, and Wade Barrett and Tessitore basically sat there and said, she's the craziest women's wrestler we have, after Michael Cole's been saying she's the best women's wrestler they have. So it was interesting to see them take different sides of the same coin, I guess. He just said Cody Raheem. Carmelo Hayes versus The Miz. I don't know why they're using Dragunov to hype up Carmelo unless you actually watched the two of them go through their feud in NXT.
I think they're about to replay it. I think that Dragunov is going to go heel, and him and Carmelo are going to have he's going to get tired of waiting for his chance at that rematch, and I think Dragunov's going to go heel, and they're going to redo the Carmelo Dragunov feud from NXT. Is what I'm thinking they're going to do.
I'm okay with that. Lash Legend versus Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton, and I don't know if you heard, but Chelsea Green ended up injured after this match.
And Tiffany Stratton had a wardrobe malfunction.
Oh, did she? I didn't see that when I watched it. I might have to go back and watch again. But Tiffany Stratton moves on. Were you hoping for Lash Legend there?
Yeah, but I knew it was going to be Tiffany.
Yeah, after she didn't win the Rumble and she was in the final three, it's kind of like inevitable that they're planning her for a big spot at Mania. She might not be in the women's championship match.
Yeah.
But yeah. They do a Wyatt 6 promo, and then we get Kit Wilson comes out.
Now, in the meantime, we were talking about how they used to do back in the day with Raw, and I like it, the consistency and the thing that they do consistent during the night. It's poor Drew. Every time he came out to try to say something, he get his ass whooped. That was kind of funny to me. That was one of my favorite parts of SmackDown.
Every time Drew came out?
Yeah, he would get on the mic and say something, and somebody would jump him. Like the first time, I think it was
First time it's Cody.
And
second time it's Jacob.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, except they're really dogging Drew McIntyre. They've been dogging him since the Rumble ended. You know, he had that great spot against Cody in the Rumble where he prevented Cody from winning.
Yeah.
And then since then, they've basically been punking him.
That's why I said
you agree?
He's not holding on to that title. He's a placeholder. And I hate it, but he's a placeholder. Now, I don't know who's going to take it from him, but I don't think he's going to hold it that long.
So you don't think he's going into WrestleMania with it?
Oh, he's going into WrestleMania with it. He just won't come out with it.
Well, Triple H keeps talking about this new era. And yet, right now, our only solid match at WrestleMania is to one guy who's mid-40s and one guy late 30s. So,
yeah, I'm tired of Triple H too.
Kit Wilson versus Oba Femi, and
it wasn't supposed to be. That was
I loved that this started as Kit Wilson coming out and basically saying, "I'll take on any competitor who is in the Royal Rumble." And all you toxic masculinity people.
See, this is where to me they fucked up. I knew it was going to be Oba because right before that segment, they did the fucking Oba Femi thing. So I'm like, it's going to be Oba. So it wasn't a surprise. You know what I mean? That they kind of fucked that up. They shouldn't have put the Oba segment before that.
You're 100% right.
Huh?
You're 100% right. And you know how often we disagree.
Yeah.
It was still a good segment.
Yes. Oh,
you know what though? I bet the people in Charlotte, because that's where they were this past week, might not have gotten that segment. They might have gotten a different video package. Because when Oba's music hit, when the lights turned out and that music hit, as I was talking about, I like off air, I think I was talking about how I want to see him get the, or maybe it was while we were on air. I don't even know. I want to see him get the Goldberg like push, because the way that crowd is cheering for him, it sounds like they could just be playing Goldberg's music and they're gonna be like, Oba. But they put him over big this week. Obviously with the War Raiders match, but the way that Tessitore and Wade Barrett were talking about it, his 5-minute match on SmackDown put him over massive. And I'm all about it. Like, he's got the size, he's got the you wonder if he'd be able to pick up Big Show when he was at his heaviest, you know? Because back in the day, that was like the measuring stick of, is Mark Henry really the world's strongest man? Oh, he just picked up the Big Show. He must be. Although Paul White actually just posted pictures that he's down to like 360 pounds now.
Oh, damn.
And he's got fucking abs.
That's not the first time. He's done that before.
Well, he had settled at like 385. And for a guy that's 7'4", that's, you can still have abs. But now he's down to like 360, and he says that his goal weight is like 325.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. The ruler decimated Kit Wilson with a couple moves for probably what is the easiest win of his career.
Yeah.
And yet, Kit Wilson is over like Rover right now. Like, it's wild how he got that toxic masculinity thing over, because back in the day, that would be one of the things that every man in that building would be booing him for.
Yeah.
The champion has many enemies. This is what you're talking about with Drew McIntyre. Tama Tonga versus Shinsuke Nakamura. For a couple weeks, we'd had Tama Tonga and Shinsuke talking back and forth with each other. And Shinsuke Nakamura obviously is fallen out of love with Triple H, because Tama Tonga gets the win. And yet Shinsuke probably got like the fourth biggest pop of the night.
I don't think that, Matt. I don't think that feud's over. I think that's just the beginning.
I agree, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because both of them are solid workers.
Yeah. Yep.
Nick Aldis was shown telling Fatu to leave the building, or he would lose his chance at the chamber. It seems like the MFTs might be using the Freebird rule for tag matches. Tama was not carrying one of the belts. Loa and Mateo had them. Tonga hit a move that was very similar to the Crossroads, but he twisted it in a different way on the way down. Oh, man. I am starting to lose it here, folks. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace. I liked the banter between Liv Morgan and Jade Cargill to at least give us the thought process that she may choose her.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the fact that this match made Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace tag together. Because right now I'm thinking, even if it's not a WrestleMania match, it might be an Elimination Chamber match between Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace.
Yeah. I don't know, and I think Jordan Grace has that match this Friday. I'm confused. I don't know if she wins. You know what I mean?
Which one?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jordan. I don't know if it's time for, because they really hadn't done anything.
Well, I think the difference is if you do it at Elimination Chamber as like one of the side matches, and it's just her versus Jade wins.
But they're doing it next Friday on SmackDown.
Well, then that still means that Jade wins. I don't think Jordan wins that, unless they've lost faith in Jade Cargill.
Because they haven't done anything with her as a champion. When is the last time? You know what I mean?
No, you're 100% right. In fact, I think someone online was talking about how it's been like 130 days or something since she even had a match. I think that and it's weird because right now she's your women's world champion, right? But I think that they've lost a lot of faith in her, because out of everybody that they brought over from AEW, and I mean seriously, everybody that they brought over from AEW, and this includes Lexis King, she's probably the one that has performed the worst. Like, Lexis King has had some good matches. I think that the only time I've seen Jade have decent matches was when she was tagging with Bianca Belair or Naomi.
Yeah. That sucks. So they need to get that belt off her.
Well, and that might be what they're thinking right now. And it might be one of those weird Unreal rooms where it's like, what do we do with that belt? Because we need to have a good women's championship match set up for WrestleMania. Because right now, Charlotte's nowhere in the picture, but she could easily be thrown into the world title picture. No. And hold on, Tino. I'm saying that not as a fan of her. I'm saying that as a we heard the Unreal stuff about Chelsea Green, right? Chelsea Green has now heard that. Did you hear what Chelsea Green said about it?
She's not happy about it.
Well, she sat there and said, I've always thought that there was a glass ceiling. I also thought that there was a way to get through that glass ceiling. I wasn't told by anybody that I'm not going to get through that glass ceiling. And I saw it on Netflix that I'm not going to get through that glass ceiling. That's how pissed off she is. Like, if I saw Michael Hayes backstage, I would have pulled out the rest of his fucking mullet and I'd have beat the shit out of him. And I'd have been like, bring it on, Freebird. You were the worst of the three to begin with.
Damn.
Like, that's what he deserves in this situation. But anyway, unfortunately, Chelsea Green went down with a massive ankle injury this week because on Saturday, she lost her AAA mixed tag championship by not even being able to compete for it.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
So now Ethan isn't a double champion anymore either, then.
He's not. Johnny Gargano was shown backstage looking very depressed. Candice LeRae couldn't snap him out of it, and Fraxium and MCM. What's that?
He was just laying on the crate like.
and Fraxium and Motor City Machine Guns had no interest in helping him get out of it. Randy Orton versus Aleister Black versus Solo Sikoa. Now, before you see this match, who deserved to be in the Elimination Chamber?
Say it again. So
before you watch this match, who would you have said out of these three people you would automatically put into the Elimination Chamber? Randy Orton, Aleister Black, or Solo Sikoa?
Randy Orton.
And Orton defeated both of them. Is it lazy booking?
Because once again, it's time to push new talent. It's time to push new talent. I love Randy just as much as the next guy, right? Orton, yeah, I saw that earlier. Orton is cool, but push the next guy.
And Orton is one of the top aged guys on the roster.
I would have put fucking Solo Sikoa in there.
The only reason why I wouldn't necessarily put Solo in there is because I think that they're going to do like a 6-man or like a massive tag match between them and the Wyatt Six again.
Yeah.
But I would have put Aleister Black in there. Because ultimately, what I think we're going to get to, since they already teased it at the Royal Rumble, is Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Because if they're smart, the way that they're going to handle that is Randy Orton is the one that RKO's Cody Rhodes to knock him out of the Elimination Chamber. If they're smart, that's going to be what they do. But what I'm really tired of, and tell me if you're anywhere on the same boat with me on this. We keep talking about developing new stars and everything. Like Money in the Bank, which, by the way, got moved past SummerSlam this year. So it happens in like the first week of September or something. That pay-per-view, PLE, I would not allow anybody that's ever been world champion before to be in that match. I'd be like, the guy winning Money in the Bank has to be a never been world champion before guy. That way you make somebody. It may fail like Jey Uso. It may succeed. But you've had LA Knight, who's a never won the world championship, even at NXT,
Yeah.
who's been the runner-up 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I'd give it to LA Knight this year because of that. Anyway, we did start a little late tonight, so I apologize. But Randy Orton wins that match. So now in that match, we've got Randy Orton, and he's the only qualifier from the men's side tonight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Raw's going to have any qualifying matches for that?
Yes.
So they can move someone over to SmackDown if they want to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I already mentioned Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano now have nothing posted about WWE on their socials. And they have booking information. Do you think that their contracts are up?
Probably. I'm trying to think when they would have resigned.
About 3 years ago, it feels like.
Yeah, so probably, yeah. Yeah, because I think DIY pretty much came back about the same time that the Motor City Machine Guns came in. That they got back together around that.
They did, but Ciampa actually got called up to the main roster and was never let go, if you remember correctly, because he came up with the Miz.
Yeah,
they were doing that whole thing where like the Miz was
he was doing the Damien Mizdow. They were doing the Mizdow thing, kind of.
But no, he was like the protector because the whole Dexter Lumis thing.
Oh yeah,
because Dexter Lumis was like stalking the Miz, so the Miz brought in Ciampa.
Yeah,
but yeah, Ciampa was wearing the same colors as the Miz and everything else, and you could tell that Ciampa was just phoning it in at that point because he didn't want anything to do with being part of the Miz group.
Yeah,
which is sad because the Miz, after 20-something years, has proved that he's a solid competitor. Hey, look! At the end of the night, we get one of those comments that sits there and tells everybody to, if you want views, contact this message site.
Yeah.
Fuck off. We're not doing that.
Right about at 2 hours, so that's.
Yeah, the only other thing I was going to ask you, I said that I had some other stuff that I could sneak in there, but Bryan Danielson, real quick, mentioned that he started using the same guy to stretch him that Edge uses, so Adam Copeland. And he said that after not being able to sleep for like more than 4 hours at a time or whatever, the first night that he used this guy, he was able to sleep 8 hours. The second time that he used this guy, he was able to sleep almost 8 hours. And he said, it's night and day. And suddenly it's got me changing my thought process on a lot of things. Suddenly everybody's going, does that mean you'll wrestle again? And all he said was, I've always said never say never. But
we'll see.
The interesting thing there, though, is that it means that when Adam Copeland finally comes back, expect him to be a little bit more limber than you've seen him recently. And that's saying something because he's not been not limber. Like he's been stretched out pretty good. Like,
and where the fuck has Christian been?
I think they're keeping him off TV because they're keeping Copeland off TV. The unfortunate thing about AEW, like Jake Doyle's off TV. They used Mark Davis this week, but I don't think that they plan on using him too much.
Where's Jake Doyle?
He blew out his bicep.
Oh, I didn't know. He's hurt already?
He was on Dynamite.
Oh.
They had the tag team title match against FTR, and you heard him when he's on the ropes. He goes, I think I just ripped my bicep.
Oh, I didn't. That might have been the one I didn't watch it. So okay.
Yeah. So Bron Breakker, last bit of news before tonight's episode. I think we already mentioned it, but hernia, massive hernia, needed surgery for it. Tino, do you know what a hernia is?
It's by your nutsack.
No, not always.
No, it's somewhere in your abdomen, and it hurts.
Well, you can have a hernia anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, because what it actually is it's like where the muscle is, it tears, and then the muscle starts coming out of where it's supposed to be packaged in.
Oh, damn.
So you got to put it back in, then tie it back up. So yeah, it is a disgusting thing. It's also a very hard thing to know that you're 100% healed, because you don't know how long those stitches need to stay in place. You don't know how much you can actually do around it. You know what I mean? So Bron Breakker is in for a tough recovery if it's as bad as they say.
Well, Godspeed.
So, all right, I am pretty much done tonight, sir. So I will let you start saying all of those awesome things that you like to say.
Catch me on Blue Sky, Tino G. You can catch me on the TikTok, Tino R Gray Music. You can catch me on the Insta, SC Tino. You can catch us on Facebook, the Potsy and Tino Show. X is Potsy and Tino. We're here each and every week on the Pots and Pans Network at 7 o'clock. Please like, subscribe, thumbs up, buy our shit. Say thank you to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling song, which you can still buy on iTunes for 99 cents. 99.
And I'll go ahead and say that the reason why we were a little bit late tonight was because I was trying to get a third monitor hooked up, and for whatever reason, it doesn't want to play ball with me. So that's why we were a little bit late tonight. You can catch me on all socials at either at Potchak on X, at Rob Potchak on almost everything, but anything else at Rob Potsy Potchak. Folks, thank you so much. We will see you next time, and hopefully we'll both be feeling better.
Yeah.
So,
good night, folks. You guys be good.
Good night, everybody.
Ready? Ownership and Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino Show.
Thanks for watching.